Polyakov returned to school along with 7 of his 30 classmates. The rest had died.
That is messed up, man. Holy hell. A suggestion made to me. Bro, I am getting so much suggestions. Yeah, it's just so many. Like, oh my gosh, too many.
As he cuts through.
I mean, it's a good thing though, because I don't know, sometimes when I don't know what I'm gonna post, I just do a suggestion though. So
the party, past the clatter of cocktails and chatter of socialites, Polyakov plays the part of a Russian UN ambassador.
In fact, due to the fact that I'm getting so much suggestions, some of y'all need to, and I'm gonna be saying this in every video now, like some of y'all, like if I haven't done your suggestion, you have to like remind me of it. If you're still watching me, that is. If you're not watching me, then oh well.
But that's his cover. He approaches his target, the evening's host, American General Ed O'Neill. O'Neill has prepared for this. He leads the Russian to another room for a private meeting. The FBI has bugged the place. They know Polyakov is a spy for the Soviet intelligence agency, the GRU. Over the years, he's embedded a network of Soviet agents into the fabric of American society. Now, Polyakov, in his thick Russian accent, announces his intent to become a double agent. As a Soviet intelligence officer, he can hand over classified intel to the US. General O'Neill is happy to make arrangements. FBI intelligence suggests Polyakov is a decorated World War II vet who rarely smokes or drinks, doesn't cheat, and spends his free time with his 3 sons and wife in his New York City apartment.
Oh, Giga Chad. Look at that testosterone in that jawline. He doesn't mug me though. Although the funny thing is, whenever I do these videos, I don't really care about how I look. I just get up and I just go and hit record. It's usually after I'm done with my videos that I actually go and I actually fix myself. So you're not really like seeing. There's like a few videos where I actually like made sure I actually looked proper for the camera, but for the most part, I don't really care about how I look on the camera. So right now, I kind of look like a hobo.
But in these times, few
homeless
can be trusted.
hobo, frankly.
The Cold War has seen the United States and its allies push the global influence of liberal democracy as a bulwark against the Soviet Union's aggressive expansion of totalitarian communism. But as bloody proxy wars rage on and nuclear stockpiles swell, the US isn't above compromising its stated ideals and occasionally supporting authoritarian regimes itself. In fledgling states and former colonies across the world, the Soviet Union and the US will foment civil wars, revolutions, and espionage. It's midnight in downtown Manhattan, raining buckets. Clad in a fedora and overcoat, Polyakov steps toward FBI agent John Mabee. Mabee asks Polyakov to prove he's a genuine double agent and give up the identities of 6 Soviet cryptographers in the GRU's Washington headquarters. Polyakov agrees, and at their next meeting does just that. The Russian isn't friendly, but he's reliable. In covert meetings in New York safe houses, he offers up secret codes in the names of all the Soviet agents he oversees. Then he delivers a startling revelation. FBI, NSA, and Defense Department phone lines are compromised. The 2 wings of Soviet intelligence, the GRU and KGB, are listening in. U.S. intelligence...
Dog. Spying? Dude. Yo. It blows my mind how spying works, bruh. It really blows my mind how spying works. Like, I always think to myself, how in the world do these people, like, pull this off? Especially when you have a enemy who has anti-spy network. Like, bro, it just blows my mind how spying in general is just like some people can just pull that off. Pull off like intelligence and whatnot. It blows my mind, bruh. Freaking hell.
Promptly root out spies and overhaul its security. For his services, Polyakov asks for almost nothing, no more than $3,000 a year, conveyed primarily in hunting rifles and power tools to indulge his hobbies. His motivations are complex. He no doubt remembers Holodomor, when the peasants of his native Ukraine resisted the state collectivization of their farmlands in 1932. Stalin restricted their food supply during a famine and closed the borders so that no one could get out. The 10-year-old...
Okay, yeah, the Holodomor has been debunked so many times. It's been debunked so many times. No, that's kind of just propaganda, actually. No, Stalin actually did try to help, and also it wasn't just Ukraine that was suffering, actually. It was other parts of the Soviet Union. It's just that Ukraine just had it the worst. So no. Like, guys, I don't even feel like talking about this, because you can literally go and read up on this for yourself. Like, so many people have debunked this by now. It's like, I don't really feel the need to debunk it anyways, because you can go and check it up. And the thing is that I used to believe in the Holodomor myself, but it wasn't until I actually looked at it in more detail that I realized that, wait a minute, yeah, this is it was twisted and turned into propaganda to antagonize the Soviet Union. So no.
Polyakov spent those years foraging for food in the woods. Several million starved to death, while Soviet officials reminded citizens not to eat their own children. When Stalin lifted the sanctions, Polyakov returned to school along with 7 of his 30 classmates. The rest had died.
That is messed up, man. Holy hell. Oh my gosh. But something that I've noticed with history, though, is that they tend to take things at face value, or they try to push a little bit of a narrative. Like when I did that history, those Zulu wars, right? And they were talking about, the African, Pan-African, I forgot what the heck it was, but I basically pointed out how that was basically nonsense, because the Africans didn't give a blast if they were enslaving other Africans. Okay, they didn't care about Pan-Africanism. That was a thing. Absolutely not. I was like, yeah, no, this is complete rubbish to say. Okay, you can't go and do something like that and then cry and moan when you end up getting colonized because you're so weak. It is what it is. But it's just something that I've noticed with history, though. You just he kind of should stay more in a central position, quite frankly speaking.
Recalls the purges, when the KGB dragged away and executed thousands of political dissidents. In Ukraine, this was overseen by then-Governor Nikita Khrushchev. And today, Khrushchev is precisely the man Polyakov fears. Now the leader of the Soviet Union, Khrushchev has threatened US presidents and expanded the Soviet arsenal. Polyakov professes loyalty to the Russian people, those he feels are oppressed by Soviet bureaucrats. He's no American idealist. Questions of democracy and liberalism don't interest him. But if Americans are dangerously ignorant of the intentions and abilities of the Soviets, Polyakov spies to change that. He spies to prevent all-out war. Nuclear holocaust.
Interesting. Very interesting.
As his GRU assignment in the US comes to an end, the double agent leaves behind the luminous Manhattan and treks toward those familiar Soviet electricity shortages, dwindling rations, cracked infrastructure. He enters the lion's den. Moscow.
Moscow.
City crawling with KGB secret police. An American agent once asked Polyakov what would happen if he were caught. He replies, "A common, unmarked grave." But he'll take the risk. In crowded GRU offices near suspicious colleagues, Polyakov digs into archives. His family knows nothing of his double life. When he sticks a band-aid to the bottom of a park bench or pushes a hollowed-out rock into a crevice, he's dropping information. He marks a separate signal site with chalk to prompt American intelligence to retrieve the dead drop. He first gives them the names of 4 destructive Russian moles inside the American military. The FBI and CIA can't risk contacting Polyakov directly in Moscow, so they use New York Times personal ads to convey coded messages. Male names correspond to dead drop sites and female to signal sites. This one from September 28th, tells him the FBI has received the dead drop.
Bro! That is madness! That is... Wait. If he was in Russia, though, how did he get an English New York Times? Wait, what? Okay. If someone knows the answer to that, that would be
KGB casts
wonderful.
A watchful eye over Moscow. They uncover a double agent in the GRU named Penkovsky and execute him. Polyakov is safe for now, but in early '65, he watches his son Igor succumb to polio at the age of 17.
Oh!
Same year, he's posted in
Nah, man, I hate when young people die.
Burma, as the Vietnam War intensifies. In neglected back alleys and safe houses in Rangoon, he'll connect with an old FBI friend, John Mabey. His new GRU post enables him to give secrets on Soviet missile systems and Russian involvement in North Vietnam. Polyakov also presents a wealth of information about the growing Sino-Soviet split. In the wake of Stalin's death, Chinese and Soviet interpretations of communism have diverged. Chinese dictator Mao Zedong abhors the recent Soviet rhetoric of peaceful coexistence between the West and East. He seeks no less than a global revolution.
Yeah, you know, communism. If you want to spread communism, right? If you think communism was so great, why not simply show everyone that, hey, communism is great? Just show them. And eventually everyone would just come and join the bandwagon when they realize, oh my gosh, communism is actually working. Simple. It's not that hard. But yeah, no. Instead, they try to force it on other people. And because of that, communism, I think communism has too much of a bad rep, frankly speaking. But when I react to more Cold War videos, I'm going to talk about that there. Right now, this is kind of a reaction to the Soviet spy, double agent spy. So I'm going to keep it related to this
Polyakov's
video.
Secret documents will travel to Langley, Virginia, the CIA headquarters, where the up-and-coming Sandy Grimes diligently files them. It's unglamorous work, but alongside colleagues like Aldrich Ames, she helps keep tabs on the Soviet bloc. The CIA will pass along Polyakov's documents on the Sino-Soviet split, and it will directly inform President Nixon's move to resume international relations with China as leverage against the Soviet Union. Now a seasoned spy, Polyakov makes his way to New Delhi in 1973. The vibrating streets of post-colonial India are a hotbed for espionage. The GRU trust their war hero and intelligence veteran to spearhead operations here. They promote Polyakov to Major General. He becomes America's highest-ranking Soviet intelligence asset ever. On hunting excursions in the Indian wilderness, Polyakov meets his CIA handler, Paul Dillon, and shares the highest level of Soviet military philosophy, war plans, and state secrets, including the fact that many Soviet generals now fear nuclear war just as much as the US. Though FBI personnel like Robert Hansen still help to compile databases of America's Soviet assets, the CIA has gradually taken on Polyakov's case. As he prepares to return to Moscow in the late 70s, the CIA tech team creates a groundbreaking gadget just for him. A pocket-sized two-way transmitter device with a keyboard that automatically encrypts and sends messages to a receiver up to 1,000 feet away. From now on, Polyakov can take the trolley past the U.S. Embassy in Moscow and shoot a message wirelessly to his American handlers. These may have been the world's first text message exchanges.
What?
FBI computer
That is
specialist
crazy,
Robert
man.
Hansen knows the Amtorg office on Broadway is a front for the GRU, and Hansen needs money. He walks in and tells them that there's a traitor in their ranks.
Actually, now that I think about it, the internet was actually like what, invented somewhat in the 60s. So yeah, this actually doesn't shock me, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, the internet was invented in the 60s. It's just that it was used by the military for, you know, stuff like this, actually. So
Dmitry Polyakov. Stationed again in New Delhi, Polyakov receives the unexpected order to return to Moscow. His CIA handler senses trouble. He offers to relocate Polyakov and his family to the States, but Polyakov tells him he was born a Russian and he'll die a Russian. 1 year passes, then another. Back in the US, Sandy Grimes searches for signs of life to no avail.
oh no.
Leads on Polyakov have dried up. Her old colleague Aldrich Ames has moved on to an assignment in Mexico City, where he's begun an affair with a Colombian woman named Rosario. He's racking up debt just supporting her. Then, a change in fortune. Polyakov's name appears in a Russian hunting magazine. He's written a column. He's still alive.
That is
The GRU had started to dig into Hansen's double agent allegations, but ultimately backed off. Perhaps it was better not to know, or to avoid the disgrace of a KGB attack on one of their prominent leaders. Instead, the GRU retired him with a full pension. Now, Polyakov quietly spends his days in a rural cottage. Family, hunting and fishing, woodworking, it's all here. But Cold War paranoia still gnaws at the aging Polyakov. One of his wood carved
bro, I feel concerned myself. I still feel tense myself, cause I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, this is kind of a bit
is
too
a secret
good to be
compartment
true.
in which he stashes a pistol. In 1985, the CIA's Soviet assets begin disappearing, one by one, arrested and executed by the KGB.
Oh,
A stroke of bad luck, or the CIA Soviet Bloc Division has been compromised.
oh no.
Celebrates his 65th birthday in his cottage. It's a spirited union of family and food. Polyakov can't help but feel something's off. Strange ambulances are parked on his street bearing Moscow plates, and he's seen outsiders passing through the village.
Oh
A
no.
couple of days prior, he received an invitation to speak at an upcoming military academy graduation in Moscow.
Oh no.
He knows there will be no speech.
No.
The morning after the party, he buttons up his military uniform and takes the train into Moscow. He steps into the military academy and he's ambushed.
Yep.
2 KGB agents grab his arm and another takes his neck. The men tear open his shirt, feeling for weapons or cyanide pills. In prison, he's relentlessly interrogated. Polyakov expresses no regret. He tells the head of the KGB, Viktor Chebrikov, he'll fully cooperate on one condition, that the KGB spares his family. Chebrikov accepts, and the interrogations resume. On the outside, CIA agent Aldrich Ames enjoys a new life. No longer saddled with debt, he and Rosario will purchase a new Jaguar, Rolexes, and a $500,000 home out of pocket.
Who is this?
Millions of Soviet dollars pour into his bank account. He's the mole, and the CIA doesn't know it. In 1987, a sunken-faced Polyakov enters the KGB courtroom.
Oh
The
my.
judge declares him guilty of treason. On March 15th, 1988, Dmitry Polyakov is executed, likely shot in the back of the head, buried in a common, unmarked grave. CIA Director James Woolsey later says Polyakov was the jewel in the crown. What General Polyakov did for the West kept the Cold War from becoming hot. In the following years, a revolutionary wave will wash over Europe, then the rest of the world.
Honestly, bro, he lived a full life. He probably could have lived longer, to be honest, but at least he kind of died old.
Authoritarianism,
So
religious
he somewhat
repression,
enjoyed
and
himself.
economic crises oust Marxist-Leninist governments in Soviet countries and satellite states like Poland, East Germany, Hungary, and many more. The Berlin Wall crumbles and the Soviet Union follows suit. In the aftermath of the Cold War, Sandy Grimes and her colleagues hunt the mole. Ames is arrested. When asked about sending Polyakov to his death, Ames says, Polyakov and the others did what they did because they had what they considered sufficient reasons for doing so. I did the same thing for reasons that I considered sufficient to myself. In pursuit of his lavish lifestyle, Ames had compromised at least 100 U.S. intelligence operations and directly led to the execution of at least 10 U.S. sources.
Nah, this man is a menace. And you can see on his face too, bruh. You look at his face. Look at his face. Oh my lord.
To life in prison. Robert Hansen later receives the same fate. And in the end, the KGB did honor Dmitry Polyakov's final request. His family is left unharmed, and the CIA helps Dmitry's sons resettle permanently in the United States.
That is crazy, bro. This man.
The Soviet equivalent of Polyakov has to be Kim Philby, the double agent inside MI6.
This man, honestly, he got away with it too. He got away with it. It's just that bro, it's always someone who ends up betraying you. I'm not even surprised. At least he lived a good life, man. Look, you made it all the way to the end of this video. Go check out my other videos. Before you do, go make sure you subscribe. All right, make sure you subscribe for more content if you like what I have to say in my videos. Okay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like so that my videos stay on the YouTube algorithm. If you got anything that you want to say, bro, comment. I love it when you people comment. But thank you for watching. Goodbye. I might be dropping like a quick Ukraine video speaking of Russia and Soviet Union. But anyways, goodbye.